Welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to make a short video today. Well, hopefully short. So, I've been getting into this online community called White Well-Being. And it was started by a guy named Jason Kuna, and he runs the website nowhiteguilt.org. He's also on YouTube and on a bunch of other social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So, just wanted to share with you some of the little tidbits that I'm getting out of the book of his that I ordered called Go Free. And it's a guide to aligning yourself with the archetype of Western kind. Now, I might link that in the description below as well so that you can go check out his site. And if you're interested in his content and material, you can check that out from there. Now, just as a fair warning, he puts out a couple of streams, at least a couple of streams a week, and they are long. So if you can't sit there and watch 3 or 4 hours of a stream, everybody gets that. But I do encourage you to check out some of the material that he produces. One of the things that he talks about, and I'm going to talk about this too. Now, before you want to warn me and say, hey, wait, don't plagiarize. Well, I'm not going to plagiarize, but he has made it specifically clear that anybody and everybody is welcome to share his material. The point is that he wants this stuff out there. He wants it public knowledge. He says, you can claim it as your own. I don't care. Just give me credit if you want. If you don't, say you invented it yourself. Just get it out there for people to absorb. And one of the things that he has done is he has come up with a new lexicon. Well, it's not new, really. It's just a set of words that most people haven't used before, such as anti-white, anti-whiteism, Western kind, Westman, men of the West, biospirit of the West. Now, they all make perfect sense. And in other videos later on down the road, I'm going to get into for example, why you should avoid using the words race, racist, or racism. Because those are anti-white, those are words in the anti-white narrative, and they keep you trapped in that narrative. So, on social media lately, there's been a lot of talk about white genocide. Now, people want to argue over whether it's happening or not, and they keep using this term ad nauseum, and it's kind of disgusting if you think about it. And let me explain to you why, if you're arguing that white genocide is happening, people are going to look at you like you're crazy, like you're nuts, because, well, you sound like it. Now, other than in South Africa, where white genocide may or may not be taking place, I don't know, I'm not from there. The mainstream news media doesn't report on it. Go check with CNN to make sure if that claim has any validity. Now, when you take the word genocide in Western civilization, I'm not talking about the East or the Far East or any other civilization, I'm talking about Western civilization. When you hear the word genocide, what historical event comes to mind? That event, that one time way back when, involving that certain mustachioed goose-stepping painter with a funny salute? Yeah, that. Okay? Now, what race of people do you imagine springs to mind next as the perpetrators of that genocide? Right? White people. Now, do you see why you can never use that phrase in an argument and win anyone over to your side? Yeah. Because I don't care who you are, if you live in Western civilization and you've been to public school, then you know that the term white genocide is always going to paint white people as the villains, the perpetrators of genocide, not the victims of genocide. You can't argue that white people in Western civilization, other than South Africa, are the victims of white genocide, or the victims of any kind of genocide. Keep in mind, that being a state-sanctioned action of wholesale slaughter of a particular race of people, right? Do you see anywhere in Western civilization where that's going on? No, you don't. So you're going to lose that argument hands down every single time. Why? Because you're using a phrase that the anti-white narrative has given you to use to keep you trapped in the anti-white narrative, and more importantly, to keep you playing the villain in the anti-white story. It keeps you trapped in that narrative, right? When you use those words. And later on, I'll explain why the use of the word race or racism, not race as a neutral term, but racist, racism, is another trap that keeps you locked in playing the villain in the anti-white narrative, right? So if you want to make the point that whites are being victimized, and we are, everyone knows it, right? Whether deep down, whether you don't have to really think about it to know that that's happening. Use the term white erasure. Now, when you use the term white erasure, you don't have to look far to see mountains of evidence for it all across Western civilization. And it comes in many forms, whether it's whites being discriminated against in education and employment, such as affirmative action, that's white erasure. Whites not being represented in TV commercials unless it's an all-white cast advertising for assisted suicide. Any pictures you see depicting white people is usually a mixed race couple with mixed race babies, usually a white female and a non-white male. You never see an entire intact white, Western, happy, healthy family in any advertising or any commercials anywhere in Western civilization, because that runs counter to the anti-white narrative, which is whites are irredeemable, whites are forever evil by dint of their birth, right? In fact, that's what the word racist and racism are designed to do. They are not designed to delineate discrimination coming from one group toward another group. I don't care what the dictionary has to say. In the minds of everyday folks on the street, when they hear those words, they automatically think white people equal evil. White people, evil. That's it. That's the bottom line. You know it's true. Everyone knows it's true. So instead of saying racist or racism or racism against and then have to name a particular group, just look at the people who are very collectively able to support and defend each other that gets a lot of hate. Unfortunately, much of it coming from white people, right? Kanye West recently ran afoul of pointing out the ways in which they use their power, which, in my view, more power to them. Wouldn't it be nice if the white race had the ability to collectively defend and support itself, right, against victimization? That would be great, but we can't do that because we are a deracinated race of radical individuals. We don't think in a collective fashion, and we need to. Time is running out. Now, when you use the word race or racism, you don't want to specify any particular group. That's just dumb. Why do you think the word anti-Semitism works, right? Because now you don't have to say anti-Semitic racism. No, that's redundant. It sounds dumb, right? People are going to roll their eyes at you if they hear you say that. Just say anti-whiteism. That's it. Now, if it's racism directed towards any other group, just forget about it. Don't even say the word. We don't use that in the white well-being community because, again, it keeps us trapped in the anti-white narrative playing the villain. So there. Now you've got two key concepts. Anti-white, anti-whiteism. Okay? Now, when you're talking about white genocide, remember, people are going to look at you like you're nuts because you sound like you're nuts. But when you say white erasure, everyone knows what that is and what it looks like. There's no denying that that's going on. And that is a small part of the victimization of Western kind. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, click the like button down below and make sure to give me a sub. Take care, everybody.